You are listening to Single Women in Motherhood on Apex Radio.
What's good, y'all? And now tuned in to Apex Radio.
Hey, what's up? You're listening to Apex Radio.
And I am feeling all right. Hello, London, Ontario. We are here again for our S.W.I.M, Single Women in Motherhood Training Program show. And we are here with a special guest today. My name is Ann-Marie Ricketts, the Executive Director / Founder of S.W.I.M, Single Women in Motherhood Training Program, located here in London, Ontario, 296 Horton, right at the corner of Wellington and Horton, people. Check us out on www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com. We would love to hear from you. Look us up on Facebook, and we are here to receive any questions, just to communicate, just to connect. Hit us up, check us out. We are here at the Apex Radio Show. And I would like to introduce you to our special guest host.
My name is Janet McCrea, and I am an employment counselor working at the London Employment Help Centre. And what I do there is I see people one-on-one for employment counseling, as well as facilitate some of their employment preparation workshops. So for the most part, what the London Employment Help Centre does is help people with the tools around job searching, like their resume, their interview, and maybe expanding their job search through networking, using social media, the LinkedIn profile. Plus, we have an advocates department that helps people who maybe have been denied social resources like the Ontario Works or ODSP. And we are located at 150 Dufferin Avenue, and it's Suite 100.
Wow, that was a lot. That was a mouthful there. What a wonderful thing. Maybe some people really don't know this exists, and this is wonderful to be able to share this with our community, especially our single moms that's getting ready to go back into the workforce. Please don't hesitate to connect and check them out, and get your resume updated. You'd be surprised how many people we've sent that way, and they've came out with great results. So look at the London Unemployment Help Centre.
No, London Employment Help Centre.
London Employment Help Centre.
Yeah.
Aha, a tongue twister. But yeah, check them out. If you need anything or further information, feel free to contact the S.W.I.M office, and we will be able to direct you there. Thank you, Janet, and welcome to the show.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself, about some of your journey. Are you a mom?
I was a single mom. Both of my sons are grown now, but it's an experience that I'll never forget in my life. I came by being a single parent by a divorce, so that was interesting. And I think for my particular situation, transitioning into employment as a single parent, I sort of had all those resources in place, but I wasn't in Ontario. I was in Manitoba. So the resources that were available to me were different than the resources that I found to be available to single moms here. And, I had access to before school and after school programs through the summer. A lot of the public schools had enrichment programs. Daycare just seemed to be more available to single moms who were looking for work. At least that was my case anyway.
You know what? And that is one of the highest challenge right now. A lot of the moms that come into the agency, one of their biggest concern is like, for example, just the other day, one of our mom had a job and she had applied for subsidy for daycare because the cost is through the sky, right? And she applied for subsidies, was waiting on subsidy for the longest time, and as soon as they contacted her to let her know there's availability space and she needs to find a location close to her, and as soon as that happened, she lost her job, and because she lost her job, she couldn't have the subsidy. It was just like a win-win, lose-lose situation. And in order for her to not lose her spot, she had to find a job immediately within a certain period of time to hold her, availability.
And like I said, my experience wasn't in Ontario, but there was one aspect with daycare that a lot of single moms had access to, and that was a socialization aspect. So if you were a single mom raising a child on your own, then the program in Manitoba looked at the positive aspects of socialization, having children around other children so that they learned how to speak quicker. They were ready maybe to go to junior kindergarten or senior kindergarten in a more well-educated way. It wasn't always focused around whether you were employed or not. So that's what I mean. When my experience was different in another province, when I came to this province, it was to go back to school. I luckily found a full-time job, but I also had the support of my family, my parents as well too. And I think that's what's missing with a lot of single moms as well too, is that they don't have the support of their families as well, their extended families.
And, I'm so happy that you brought that to the forefront, because that's why S.W.I.M is here. The S.W.I.M family is here basically to support those single moms. Because you know what? When I moved to London, it was like I had nobody, no family, no friends, no nothing. And I found that was one of the biggest thing that was missing. There was not a home for you to feel like you belong. Mm-hmm. And I used to always say, like, what about us single moms? Like, I don't understand. If you had one problem, you had to go to this agency. You had another problem, you had to go over here. And it's like you're so scattered in your normal physical life. Now you're scattered mentally, and that's overwhelming. And that's why I got up and I said, we need to do something for single mom, especially today where there's so much relocated families or people going to school and they don't leave and go back. They like it here, and they probably found a job here, so now they're starting their life here. So then what happened to the grandmothers and the aunts and uncle? That becomes distance.
Well, working as an employment counselor, I see that people are on the move. They're going to where the jobs are.
Exactly.
It's not rare to meet somebody that wants to get their resume ready to start applying to jobs in Alberta, per se, or to apply to jobs in British Columbia, and their parents might be in PEI. So I think, the search for work has led to a lot of families kind of breaking up as well, too. And, the onus is on the individual to be that much more educated about what resources are in the community. Where do they go to find them? Pick up the phone, start calling. One question leads to another question, leads to another phone number, before you have that list of places where you can make application. Mm-hmm. And no is not an option. If you need this, you're not going to stop until you get the resources that you require.
That's the attitude you have to develop, and not only just about, resources or anything. It's just about your life naturally. Is when you want something bad enough, no is really not an option. And that's where the willpower will kick in, and the skill set that you didn't know you have will kick in, because That's the key. No is not an option. So, we talk about people relocated and stuff, but then we have people like newcomers into the country and their family is way beyond, just 2-hour drive or 4-hour drive, so it is so important to, shout out to the community, let them know what's out there and help them to understand that they're not alone. We are here for them. Anytime you need, just pick up the phone and give us a call. And we'll do our best. We will do our best to be able to assist you. And if we're not the one for you, maybe we can refer you to where you can get a better help or assistance, I would say.
Absolutely. S.W.I.M would be a dynamite starting place for anybody who has questions about daycare or before school and after school daycare. The resources at S.W.I.M are very knowledgeable. The people at S.W.I.M are very knowledgeable. And if they can't get the answer, they'll find somebody who can.
And that's it. No is not an option. It's just that simple. We just have to search and search till we can assist you because you are the number one. You're very, very important. So, Janet, man, thank you so much for, just joining in and just having that love and that concern, that we all carry at the agency. How can we help that one mom? It's all about one at a time.
Absolutely.
And every mom we help the children. And our goal is basically teaching ourselves how to constantly transfer the lessons, the information, any skill set, any knowledge set to our children. Start with pumping these information to them at an early age so they too can develop into strong human beings. And that's the goal. No is not an option. Isn't that a wonderful theme to constantly talk about? No is not an option. And I like that one. I think I'm going to do a show around that soon. So we talked about our 21-day challenge. And I think we were at last week. We are still in the mode of our 21-day challenge, people. I don't know if you had come on board, if you would pick up your 21-day challenge. It doesn't matter when you start it. We're shouting it out to let you know. Get up on it. Start the movement. 21-day challenge. What do you want to change? What do you need to improve on? What do you need to develop on? Start your 21-day challenge. Start that theme, that thought, that movement, that emotion, whatever it is that's important for you. 21 days of repetitiveness will become a natural reaction, and that's what we're trying to get going. Have you ever done a 21-day challenge?
Yes.
You have. Tell me a little bit about it.
When I stopped smoking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
That's been every 21 days, I think.
That is too cute. That is too cute. But you know what? That's okay, because guess what? We are all human beings. And as I say every week, rest if you must, but don't quit. Start again. Try again. You are worthy and you do deserve it. You do deserve that second chance, that opportunity. You and everyone that loves you deserve that opportunity to try again. The only thing you can lose is not trying.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll never know if you quit too soon.
Exactly. And if you had to step back a bit, you're entitled to do that. So let's keep up on that 21-day challenge. And I am still, last week I shared about my back, my lower back from my accident. I wanted to start sit-ups and, get that ab tied up and everything. But, there's a little challenge, but I don't look at it as a challenge. I look at it, okay, so if that way's not working, what now can I try, right? So basically it's keeping up with what I'm told to do every week. Just continue to stretch, to continue to strengthen my bones and, my body, and try to get back into the swing of things. It's not easy, but it's not uncommon. It can be done.
It can be done. Yeah.
So, Janet, we want to talk a little bit about parenting tips. Every week we share some funny things. Sometimes we share some interesting things. And I want to talk about common timeout mistakes and how to solve some of them. We're not perfect here, so don't get us twisted. We're not, professionals, but we do read and we do want to pass on some of those knowledge, right?
So these are not, family,
mistakes?
no, family, what are they now? Family parenting ideas?
They're parenting tips.
Yeah,
And
okay.
some of the tips this week we're talking about, some common timeout mistakes, right?
Okay.
And how to solve some of them. Basically,
I don't remember ever getting timeouts when I was a kid.
you don't remember? I don't either, because it never exists. It never exists back then. And we'll talk about where does timeout come from. So, timeout certainly sounds like a brilliant fix. I know when parents hear timeout, it sounds so brilliant. But a child spends a few minutes sitting alone and then emerge calm and cooperative. Parents often admit that it's simple. It simply doesn't work, right? Because their kids fight going to that timeout corner. They cry and call out instead of sitting quietly. Now, just put yourself in that position as a child, right? You're sitting there in that corner, no one to talk to, and your mom, you just had a spasm attack, and now your mom's saying timeout, and you're supposed to automatically switch on and just sit quietly and like a good little girl. How often does that work, right?
I think that's why we're not familiar with it.
You know what? But you know what? It's basically, it lets the kids work up even more, and they get angry even more after.
So they fight
afterward.
to go there, they fight while they're there.
And they fight when they're coming out.
Yeah. So
However,
when is it a timeout?
hold on. However, according to a recent study from Oregon Health and Science University in Portland, 85% of parents who uses this strategy makes mistakes that can reduce, its success, right? Because there's no rules, there's no books to follow, right? Things like giving too much warning or talking to the kids or letting them play with toys during timeout, right? If you're ready to become a timeout, I would say a timeout dropout, consider when they will be most effective and how you can adapt other tactics, for your kids, right?
So where did timeouts come from?
I
Can
wonder
you
that
guess?
all the time.
Well, what other things are the byproduct of the 60s, huh?
You know what? I'm telling you.
So the timeout is a byproduct of the 60s. I'm not surprised. Came out of the concept that teachers and principals routinely smacked children with rulers, and parents spanked or whipped their kids with switches. Now, at a time when a video of a kid being paddled or at school goes viral because it's so shocking, most parents are embracing a more gentle approach. After all, decades of research have shown that children who have been routinely spanked are more likely to be aggressive when they get older, as well as to suffer from anxiety, depression, and substance abuse.
That's what they're saying?
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But they say timeout isn't benign either. When your child has a temper tantrum or a meltdown, she or he may be overwhelmed and unable to control their emotions. Rather than immediately sending her or him to the corner, in a chair in the corner, it's important to let them know that you empathize with how she or he is feeling. Your
Right.
child actually needs you the most when she or he is at their worst. Most experts believe timeouts can be effective as long as they are used correctly and in the right situation, especially for kids who are over age 3. So, there you have it. Thanks, 60s.
Well, if that's what they're bringing it down to with the depression and, you know, adults challenges that that children suffers from timeouts.
No, they're
Or
saying
spanking
Spanking
back in the
causes them to
days.
be aggressive.
And that's the reason. Well, timeout can be very much effective if it's used in the right way. So we talk about timeout mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. So using them too often is one of the biggest mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. Because now it becomes a routine, right?
The kids are desensitized.
Yeah, they're desensitized. They're like, oh, here we go again. You know, despite popular beliefs, timeouts are supposed to be about getting children to think through their misdeeds. A timeout is primarily let's stop things from getting worse strategy, you know, says Elaine Kennedy Moore, PhD, you know, a parent advisor and an author of Raising Emotional and Social Healthy Children. Dr. Kenny Moore explains, in the history of the university, no children have ever gone to their room to think about what they do. You know, they're thinking about their parents, being mean and not nice, right?
Besides, what's in their room? All their toys are in their room.
And all their toys are in their room.
That's a perfect place for a timeout.
Right?
I want to go there for a timeout.
You know, but when we get resentful, we get challenging. We don't want to go because you're told to do it. So that's the difference with toys or not. The learning starts after the timeout, and when you can say, okay, let's try again, sometimes that's where you get a better results. Not when they're doing the timeout, right? So that's quite interesting. Giving kids attention during timeout is another thing. That's another common mistake that we do. A timeout is essentially a mild consequence. Young kids crave attention, and even negative attention may suffice, right? Timeout was originally short for time out from positive reinforcement. To me, timeout isn't naughty chair or a corner of the room, right? It's simply the lack of parental attention for a short period of time that let the child see that his behavior led to losing attention instead of getting it. So that's sometimes why we do timeout, and that's a message that the kids are getting, basically, that, you know, they're doing something wrong and they're not going to get your attention. Instead, last week when we had Nora on the radio, she kept saying and she kept repeating, you know, talk to the child, talk to the kid. The more you communicate with them, the more you'll get them to move your way. But sometimes the first starting of the communication can be very challenging. Another mistakes that I think a lot of, that they talk about that a lot of parents do is make it boring. During timeout, do not talk to your child or make eye contact. Stay silent. Staying silent may require some practice, especially if your child say things like, "You are the worst mom in the world," or ask a question like, "Why are you doing this to me?" And "Can I get a glass of water?" No matter what the child say to you during the timeout, you need to ignore it. You have to. And sometimes I think when we think we're punishing the child or disciplining the child, we're the one being disciplined.
Yeah,
because we have to learn the skills to continue it, right?
You're trapped there too.
The other mistakes that is common is when the timer goes off, call an end to the timeout. It doesn't matter if your child is still frigidly, sassy, or crying. Once the timer goes off, the time's out is over. And that's the other thing. People put their kids in the corner or saying this is a timeout. There's no start and end.
Walk away and leave them.
They just walk away till they feel like coming back. So try to get a timer. Give yourself some freedom too, because you are responsible to see to it that this is completed in the most proper and effective way, right? So the timeout is not just about walking away.
Well, then nothing is perfect either. So what if my child refuses to go to timeout? This was always a hard one. I did try this with my children. You present a choice. He can cooperate or lose a privilege, such as screen time. If he chooses not to have a timeout, say, okay, then it's no TV, and walk away. Offer time off for good behavior. You might say, timeout is normally 3 minutes, but if you go now and sit quietly, it'll be 2. Or take it yourself. If your child is safe, being unsupervised, or another adult is there, go to your room. Go to your own room, or say, I'm not going to talk to you for 3 minutes because you hit your brother. I think I like that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that one.
So there's always a solution. You're not alone. There's always a solution.
I think it requires creativity.
Yeah, and make it fun, Make it fun so it's not corporal punishment, right? So...
And I think it's really important, too, that you're not using timeout for wrong reasons. Some research has found that timeouts work best on young children who are oppositional and defiant. Let's see here now. Some research has found that timeouts work best on young children who are oppositional and defiant by hitting or intentionally doing the opposite of what you ask, or only if you first try milder responses most of the time. When a child is put in a timeout for different types of problems, or it is used too often for oppositional defiance, his behavior may get worse. So little children who are just whining about mashed potatoes or negotiating for more iPad time respond better to other approaches in other types of situations. Consider these tactics instead. Well, that was tough to read there. Kind of tongue twister sentences. So I guess basically what they're saying is that you have to try different things with different children. Every approach to timeout is not going to work. A 5-6-year-old might not sit in the corner quietly for different things. Or if the child doesn't want to eat their dinner for some reason, they don't like mashed potatoes, then maybe sending them away from the table is a better idea so that everybody else can have their dinner in peace. You have to be creative, There's no textbook. Answer to any of these things. Kids are people too, and they have a thinking process. Everybody's different, so your approach should be creative and different as well too. You know.
And what they're saying, Janet, is there's alternative to timeout, right? So such thing as praising or often rewarding for these behaviors, saying, "Wow, you are playing so nicely with your toys," or giving your child stars or stickers is an
Absolutely.
alternative.
Recognize positive behavior when you see it. Don't just think it's a general idea, so you're not going to recognize it. Because if the most attention is given to the child for negative behavior, then you're almost setting up the script that, okay, that's the way I'm going to get attention, is with negative behavior. But if you recognize good behavior, then you might just see more of it.
Use when and then states. Instead of telling your child, "We can stay at the playground for 5 more minutes, but only if you put your shoes back on," you can motivate her to cooperate by saying, "When you put your shoes back on, then we can stay at the playground for 5 more minutes."
Yeah.
So it's basically how we choose to use our words.
Yeah. So the 5 minutes becomes the reward.
The reward.
And staying at the playground for 5 minutes becomes the reward.
Strike when the iron is cold, not when it's hot, because it's that resistance. You know, when you're mad, sometimes nobody can talk to you. Well, it's the same thing with a child. If we could just only see them through our eyes as young adults, as a person, as, you know, we can deal with them better, because then we can learn to understand their personality and how best to work with them, right?
Yeah.
Instead of fighting against them.
I always think, you know, maybe I didn't do this when I was a parent, but I do it now. I always think of kids as our future nurturers, you know, and I mean, we're all heading to seniors' homes, you know. I don't want my PSW to be all mean at me because their mother was mean at them and didn't know how to give them timeouts.
And she had blonde hair like you, so the resemblance.
Dye my hair brown. Yeah.
The other one is strike when the iron is cold. You know, after everyone has a chance to cool down, you can explain, we don't throw toys because throwing toys is dangerous. That's simple things, you know.
That's the one thing I remember with my parents when I was growing up. You know, there may be a time when I'd been sent to my room, so I guess that was a timeout. But I always remember, you know, my mom or my dad coming to my room afterwards to explain why. You know, there was never, you know, you were sort of left in doubt as to why, you know, you had been sent away from the table.
They talk about new and improved things to help with timeout techniques is 1, give one clear warning. 2, announce a timeout that it's coming. 3, start the clock. 4, make it boring, right? And, you know, 5, when the time goes off, call an end to the timeout. You know, that's the easiest thing to do. So it's not as bad as we think. And we're not the ones that's being held accountable, right? So, you know, it's not as bad. And these are some of the techniques that that surfaces all the time. And you know what? Every child is different. So we just have to learn to understand our child. And as we continue to encourage you to do, you always communicate. That's the best techniques. Try to get that communication development between you and your child. That brings trust, that brings understanding, and it gives them an opportunity to be able to work with you and not stress you out.
I think it's always interesting, you know, if you do focus on communication first, you know, or somewhere along the process of discipline, it's always interesting to get the child's viewpoint afterwards. That's what starts to happen as a result of that kind of parenting
Get them
technique.
involved, eh?
Yeah, that the kids start talking to you. I was upset when you said that to me, or when so-and-so did this. So they start using their language back to you, which is excellent, because then when they go to school, you know, they're not going to be that kid that says, when you said, okay, how was school? And they go, what happened? Nothing. Because now they've developed that rapport with you, and it'll continue as they go through school.
And that would be a gift.
Yeah.
To be honest, that would be an amazing gift. Well, ladies, I am talking to you people. Share with you. Everyone out there knows a single mom. We at Single Women in Motherhood Training Program, we are having a car wash tomorrow, Friday, August the 18th, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Everyone come on out, support us, tell a friend, and tell them to tell a friend.
Who's going to be there?
Come one, come all, help save S.W.I.M, not-for-profit organization with the London firefighters. It is going to be at 378 Horton Street in the Canadian Tire parking lot. All proceeds support single women in motherhood.
If I bring my bike, can I get my bike washed?
Hey, bring anything. We will even wash you.
No thanks. Industrial detergents don't do well.
It doesn't do well on your skin. I will think about that. No, I'm just joking. You know I'm joking though, right? So tell a friend. Tell somebody, come on, just even if you're passing through, this is an awareness for our agency, and we're going to have fun. And it's all about having fun. And it's so wonderful to see the London firefighters getting involved. That means they are in support of single moms and their success, and the Canadian Tire offering, the soap, the water, the space. Totally amazing what Canadian Tire do for our community. We are so thankful for them.
Is there going to be a draw as well too?
Yes. There's going to be 2 gift baskets and a bike that will be there for people to have an opportunity to win. So come on out. It's going to be fun.
Where is it again?
It's going to be at 378 Horton Street in the Canadian Tire parking lot.
What
on
time?
Horton Street.
What time again?
From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
And who is going to be there?
The firefighters. I think you just love the word, the firefighters. And people, sharing with you again, London's Got Talent. Our first audition is coming up so shortly. Auditions for London Got Talent charity fundraising and talent show, August the 23rd from 4:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the S.W.I.M office, 296 Horton Street, right above the Tim Hortons, people. September the 22nd, 4:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Sprit Theatre, Covent Garden Market. We will be having our second audition. And September the 23rd, 1 to 5 p.m. at the S.W.I.M office. We are here to receive some wonderful people to showcase. 12 talented performers will be selected to compete and perform in front of a live audience and celebrity judge on October the 20th, 2017 at the Wolf Performance Hall. The lucky winner will receive a $1,000 cash prize. Guys, come on out. All other proceeds go to benefit the S.W.I.M and the SMART Scholarship. The SMART Scholarship provides support to single moms in the London area. All ages are welcome to audition, any style. Bring yourself and your unique talent. London's Got Talent 2017 Single Women in Motherhood Training Program.
I went last year. It's fantastic.
And this year is going to be even better. S.W.I.M will be at the OW Employment and Resource Fair on August the 23rd, people. 1835 Dundas Street from 10 to 12. If you want more information, contact the OW. Ask for Lisa Luther for more information. S.W.I.M, again, I am speaking at the Mo Monday in Toronto on August the 28th, 5:30 to 9 p.m. at the Supermarket, 268 Augusta Avenue, Toronto, Ontario. And last but least, everyone, please go to www.gofundme.com/singlewomeninmotherhood.com. Share it with your friends. Pass it around. Donate. The minimum is $5 to help support the S.W.I.M agency.
A small donation for such a worthy cause.
I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
And all that work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're moving on to what's on our mind. And I will talk to you about what's on my mind today, the fear of money. Fear of money. Well, you're probably thinking, what? Fear of money. I love money. I love money. Well, you know what? So many of us do not even understand what the word money means. And we have all, majority of us have been brought up with this concept that money is the root of all evil, or you mustn't be too greedy, or the rich people are not the nice people. But I tell you, or lots of trouble comes with money. Me personally, I welcome the trouble with lots of money, because you know what? Money is an essential piece of connection, or
it makes your
things
life
in our
easier.
life that makes our life so much easier. Mm-hmm. And you know, we want to break that trend. We want to have every woman see themselves. You know, I welcome women to close their eyes and just imagine what it would be like to have unlimited funds to do and take the journey that you always dream of taking, that vacation once a year, twice a year, that freedom that do not trap you in an unfamiliar zone, in an unfamiliar, career that you don't like to be at, and you're forced to be there every day. Just imagine being so financially comfortable, how wonderful your life would be. And that's what we're talking about. So many things have hit single moms out there because of the lack of money. And usually that lack stems from what they've been taught, what they've grown up to know, that they don't deserve this. Or I want people to change their mindset, to just imagine how, deserving they are and how they have the right to be financially comfortable. We here have to promote that. You are worthy of nothing but the best. And once you start to feel that, that will start to attract in your life. It is so simple to feel that you're not worthy, but it's so hard to feel you are. We have to change that mindset. We have to discipline ourselves. Every time something negative come to you, you can catch it and stop it and turn it right around, because you are so worthy, right? And some of the challenges, Janet, I see with a lot of mom getting to where they need to be or reaching their goals of things such as employment is, daycare.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that, but it's the biggest thing that comes through our door all the time. There's no childcare. There's no childcare. How do we merge that gap?
So as an employment counselor, that's one of the questions that I have in helping somebody find a job is, where are they going to leave their child while they're working? And, London and Ontario has been characteristically very short with subsidized daycare spots. Up until the last budget of April 26, 2017, when the finance minister, Charles Sousa, and Indira Naidu-Harris, minister responsible for early years and childcare, decided that they would put some money towards 100,000 licensed spots over the next 5 years. That is going to urge the government to invest at least $200 million in operating costs and $500 million to build new spaces to kickstart last year's pledge of 100,000 licensed spots. So London, or not London, but Ontario has been in what they characterize as a daycare crisis. And that's what I'm saying, when I had my experience as a single mom growing up in Manitoba, the daycare situation had a different model. It was looked at as enrichment for kids, so that you're not isolated with your mom at home. The empty public schools were made into enrichment centers during the summer.
I like that word, enrichment.
So you didn't have to worry about daycare during the summer. And also, too, there was before school and after school programs. Now, I know there's some services in London that have that as well, too. But I'm telling you, the first barrier to a young single parent, a single parent period, securing employment is to have their children in one of those services, whether it's a subsidized service or, they're paying it themselves. London is one of the highest areas in Ontario for daycare costs if you are paying for it out of pocket, if you don't qualify for subsidy. So until you can have a place where your child is in a trusted environment, you can't look for work. It's impossible. How can you accept any kind of job? Even the one dynamic, if you want to step right out of the ordinary for daycare, the Ys in Manitoba were babysitting 24 hours a day.
Wow.
So, and that's
so if you
the
had a
kind.
night job, you
Yeah.
didn't have to worry.
Yeah.
And right now, what I see with a lot of people in the healthcare field that has to work evenings and nights, they are one of the hardest. That's their cry every day. They don't have childcare. They don't have childcare, and their kids are going from here to there. There's no consistency in the kid's life.
Well, most employers, I mean, if you're working, if you're lucky enough, I mean, I'm lucky enough to work at a place that has sort of a 9 to 5 working model. But if you're in that area of your life where you're having to work in factories or, call centers or whatever, you have to be available for 3 shifts. That's the way they operate. So 3 shifts. And if you don't have reliable daycare or family support to be available for those 3 shifts, then how can you accept that job?
And this is why we talk about the fear of money. We need to get women back to the forefront of knowing they deserve the best. And in order for them to do that, they have to have that team, that that backup plan, or the people in place so they can continue to make the money to provide the lifestyle they want for their children. And this alone, with the fear of daycare and all of that, brings the fear. It triggers off fear of all other things.
You know what, I came across something a year or so ago, and it was so interesting to me. How much taxes do you get from somebody who stays at home?
Interesting.
But if you put them in the workforce with the resources that they need to stay in the workforce, you're going to get taxpayers' dollars from them. And what else is going to happen with that person is that they're going to have an elevated level of self-esteem, because now not only are they contributing to their community, but they're also contributing to their life as well too. They can make plans to take those year trips. They can do that. Even if somebody wants to go back to school, there is daycare issues around that. So all of the choices that are related to progression in your life, as far as going back to school, going back to work, being having the daycare available for the numbers of different shifts, they have to be there. Otherwise, you're not a contributing citizen like you want to be, like most people want to be.
Well, and this is where S.W.I.M kicks in. And we are in the process for hoping for September that we'll have enough volunteers lined up for single moms that have a job interview but don't have the childcare. So when they're caught in between that gap again, just like one of my moms, that she didn't have a job but she needed the childcare to go get a job and all that stuff, we're working our hardest to be able to provide and fill some of those gaps so that moms don't lose out on opportunities just because they didn't have someone to watch their child, so they can go and do that childcare. I mean, that job interview or that doctor's interview, or even if they have to go to court because they're in child custody battle or a divorce situation, they can, just be able to call the S.W.I.M agency and see if we have anyone on, staff that can watch their child for them. And those are some of the things we're working hard at. And that's why we're always saying, if you want to volunteer, you want to give back to the community, come on out and support us. Mothers, we're encouraging you to, pay it forward for those who have gone through and who have been successful. Although it's kind of hard, when you're working, because, once you start to work, things change. You don't have that
a whole
freedom
different
no
set
more.
of priorities.
Exactly. So, yeah, those are the challenges. The Ontario budget to pump, millions of dollars into childcare is so needed. And if Toronto got such a long waiting list,
Incredible.
a long waiting list, what does London look like?
Yeah, we're talking 15,400 children on a wait list for daycare subsidies in Toronto. What's London's wait list? I challenge everyone to get out there and find the resources you need to make your life happen. That's exactly, it's your right. We are all contributing to what Canada looks like. We are all contributors to this country. Everybody.
Man, I'm telling you. Whew. when you really think about it, one of the things when you're being challenged with such a strong challenge is looking for people that's not in your situation to be able to be there for you. That's something Janet said to me earlier, and it's like, wow, that's deep. That is so deep, because we're always talking about building your team, the neighbor beside you, this. But that is such an important dynamic piece to, make sure that when you build your team, to connect yourself with people that's in a higher position, that's not stressed out looking for babysitting, or,
Yeah, people that know what you know. So you want to step outside your comfort zone to a place like S.W.I.M to get an infusion of new ideas. That's what you want to do.
To make the changes you need to change
Absolutely.
in your life.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful information here, people. I am so, so happy we had this opportunity to sit with you today.
Oh, you're very
and
welcome.
to be able to pluck some of the knowledge inside your head to share with our moms. And, again, don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call and ask. And if we don't know, we will find out for you.
One question leads to another question, leads to
Exactly.
another phone call. It's just a phone call. Pick up your phone.
Remove that fear of money and go get what the universe have for you. That is our show today, people. And once again, I'm talking about our car wash tomorrow, Friday, August the 18th, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. at 378 Horton Street in the Canadian Tire parking lot. The London firefighters are going to be there. Come on out and support us. Single Women in Motherhood Training Program. London's Got Talent. First audition is August the 23rd, 4:30 to 9:30 p.m. Please tell a friend. Bring your buddy. Come on out. Show your talent. Everyone has hidden talents. Remember, let's have some fun this year. September the 22nd, 4:30 to 9:30 p.m. at the Sprint Theater, Covent Garden Market. Give the S.W.I.M office a call. Register 519-432-5454. September the 23rd, 1 to 5 p.m. at the S.W.I.M office, 296 Horton Street, London, Ontario, at the corner of Wellington and Horton. We are there waiting for you to give us a call. 12 talented performers will be selected to compete and perform in front of a live audience and celebrity judge on October the 20th, 2017 at the Wolf Performance Hall. The lucky winner will receive $1,000 cash prize. All other proceeds go to benefit the S.W.I.M and the SMART Scholarship, providing scholarship and support to single moms in the London community, London, Ontario. All ages are welcome to audition. All styles. Bring yourself and your unique talent. I'm so happy and excited about that opportunity. S.W.I.M will be at the OW Employment and Resource Fair on August the 23rd, 1835 Dundas Street East from 10 to 12. For more information, contact OW. Ask for Lisa Luther for more information. Come on out. Get all the information you need and all the resources that's out there. There's a lot of hidden resources, and unless you start getting out, that's how you're going to get familiar. S.W.I.M, I am speaking at Mo Monday, Toronto on August the 28th from 5:30, doors open, to 9 p.m. The Supermarket, 268 Augusta Avenue, Toronto, Ontario. If you want more information, check us out on www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com. Also, we have a GoFundMe campaign, www.gofundme.com/singlewomeninmotherhood.com. People, we are looking for your support, and we are encouraging you to let's join this movement of changing one life at a time.
Since we've been talking so much about picking up the phone, what is S.W.I.M's contact phone number?
519-432-5454.
What's that again?
519-432-5454. Sing it with me. We are so looking forward to hearing from you. We're so excited to see the changes that's happening silently. It's there. Once you're listening to us, changes are being made. What do you think, Janet?
I think so. Yeah.
I think we had a wonderful show. It was so excited to have you, and I can't wait for you to come back again and join us again and bring more knowledge from the community, you know. Let's talk up the thing, you know, and let's make that change happen, right?
Yeah, do you know that the city councilors are getting a pay raise?
And I'm not yet.
I can't believe it. $10,000 pay raise.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we need to become friends with city councilors.
That's right.
And we need to know who our counselor is in our area, because these are the hot people that we need to, you know, rub shoulders with
That's right.
and see how well they can come in and join force with S.W.I.M.
Exactly.
So do you have anything to send the mothers off with?
Always think positive. Always think positive. Think what you can do today. Tomorrow's not here. Yesterday doesn't matter. It's always what you can do today.
That's deep. That's deep, because we forget. We get so overwhelmed and we constantly look at what's in front of us and we focus on that, right? Because that's tangible.
One day at a time.
So
One day at a
if
time.
we can get them to develop and stay in tune, you know, just stay, they call it tunnel vision or tunnel focus. Just focus on one thing at a time. Just check. That's completed, you check it off. That's completed, you check it off. And you keep going down your checklist and you'd be surprised how much you accomplish.
Do you make lists?
I do check-ins. I do. I sit down and I think, okay, this is where I'm at, how many things I've gone through, and especially every end of the year. What have I done this year?
Oh, you do the big checklist.
I do the big checklist.
I do the daily checklist, and I find them in my pockets.
Yeah.
I find all these lists in my pockets, and you know what's funny? The list is always the same. Why isn't it memorized in my head now?
But you know what? That's a new tool. Try that, you know, daily check-in with yourself. It is very interesting to do. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. Single Women in Motherhood Training Program, www.singlewomeninmotherhood. Check us out on Facebook. Send us your questions. You know, hit us up. We will get back to you. We are so happy that you tune in today. I am Ann-Marie Ricketts, Single Women in Motherhood Training Program Executive Director and Founder.
You're listening to Apex Radio.
Live from London, Ontario to the world, you're listening to Apex Radio.